When I walk into my local gas station every morning, it's usually the same routine. I look to the left and see my neighbor Rick cooking behind the counter. I walk over to the right and see my other neighbor Scott restocking the shelves, and when I check out, Linda is at the counter. I get to tell them about how my family is doing and my plans for that week, and that's how it is going pretty much anywhere in my hometown. You get to see the same people every single day and check up on them. I was most likely late to school that day because there were cows crossing the road, or if I was lucky, a moose. Or if it was the winter, I had to wait for the driveway to be plowed before I could leave. All these things occurred daily in my hometown of Waterbury, Vermont. I didn't realize until later in life, and especially when I came to college, that where I'm from is different from a lot of ways other people grew up. For the longest time, I would hear everyone at school complain about how their parents should have lived in Florida, Hawaii, California, or anywhere tropical, or hear them complain about how we didn't have a single food chain or shopping center around us. For a while, I would agree and say the same exact things, but as I get older, I realize the way living rurally has positively affected my life. Large cities and small towns both have their advantages and disadvantages, and many people believe living in urban cities is the way to go. But I believe living rurally has taught me key life lessons and given me many opportunities that other people do not have. Having a community you can depend on and form connections with is crucial for well-being. Community is defined by Merriam-Webster's dictionary as a group of people with a common characteristic or interest living together within a larger society. For me, community is so much more than that. It's the values that we all pride ourselves upon and the family-like connections we have made with each other with no biological relation. Every year in my hometown, the local elementary school hosts a lantern parade, which consists of all the students making a lantern to then light up and walk from one end of the town to the other, which is only about a mile. It's Waterbury's Super Bowl. The kids spend all week preparing for it, as all the parents go around hanging up flyers and post on our local front porch forum encouraging everyone to go. And the day of the parade, the entire community shows up. People who have no kids come down to watch and walk in the parade. Musicians walk with the crowd and add songs, and the local art vendors show up with the most elaborate lanterns you have ever seen that they'd secretly been working on for months. Times like this are when you get to see everyone at once, and when our community turns into one big family more than just residents in a single town. This sense of connection has been instilled in me and my peers from a super early age. We all went to school together since kindergarten, played on the same sports teams, and shared all of our interests with each other. We got to form these deeper bonds with each other and our teachers since we have just known each other our whole lives, which is a chance not many kids get in urban areas. And there are many aspects to where I grew up that don't just impact my social life, but rather my individual life. My house is at the top of a hill with a 100-foot-long driveway that none of my friends ever even attempted to drive up in the winter. My house is surrounded on 3 sides by forest and thick brush, but has a clear view off my back porch of all the major mountains in Vermont, and some from Canada too. I've lived in the same house my entire life, and I have watched every sunset, rainstorm, flood, snowstorm, or whatever weather Vermont decided to throw at us that particular day. When I was younger, my mom used to round up my brother and I, and when the sun was going down, to tell us it was the golden hour. We would watch the sun go down every night, and that was just our routine. We would sit outside and play with our dogs, while my mom and dad got excited over which birds come to the bird feeder. We'd also go on garden walks in all 14 of the gardens at my house, which my mom worked so hard to make every summer. And I never particularly thought about how this affected me until I had urban friends come stay and visit me. I would try to go outside with them and do all my same routine, but they were never interested. They would say, "Who cares? You see this every single night." And that was the first time I had really realized that not everyone lives the same way I had, surrounded by nature and quite literally forced to appreciate it. I'm certainly not going to say that people who live in urban areas can't love or like nature, but it definitely made me realize the opportunity I have gotten to be able to take the time and appreciate all the small moments I have by living in such a calm rural area that isn't surrounded by busy lights, noise, and crowds. There are also many linked mental health benefits to nature. As published in the National Library of Medicine, it was concluded, exposure to natural environments has been linked with decreases in anxiety and rumination, which are associated with negative mental health outcomes, such as depression and anxiety. And this is just one advantage I have gotten from living rurally that other people may not have had much of a chance to experience. The responses I typically get when I say where I'm from is, "What do you even have there?" Or, "I've never actually met someone from there," which are completely valid because it's true. There isn't much there, and not a lot of people live there. Although I do feel like sometimes I lack certain things that other people had, I've grown to learn and love where I am from so much over the years. Living rurally has its ups, and it certainly has many downs, and the same goes for urban areas. There isn't necessarily a right or wrong answer of if it's better to live in one or the other, but I think the advantages of living rurally are certainly overlooked. I will carry my sense of community and the appreciation I have gained for smaller moments in my life wherever I am or whoever I meet. One thing is for sure, though, and that is that I wouldn't have had it any other way.